you start off why, right? With all these options and choices.
Me, I'm looking for substance. So if you can't come with a substance level of conversation, I have no interest.
Okay.
You black man taking the liking of how my lifestyle is living and how I'm going, man, and you being intrigued, man. That's very humbling for me, man.
Through growing up as a child and stuff like that, that's when I was seeing things that other people couldn't see, and I was hearing things that other people couldn't hear and stuff like that. And you kind of write it off like, okay, overactive imagination. Like I shared with you, my first encounter was at my grandmother's house. I was laying in her bed, and a little boy came up beside my bed. He bit me in my arm. I had bite marks on my arm, and I screamed. And my brother was in bed with me, and he was like, "Man," I was like, "I just got bit. I got bite marks." He said, "You just bit yourself?" And I was like, "No, I didn't. I did not. A little boy just came up and bit me." And he's looking under the bed. There's nothing there. So time goes on and stuff like that. My dad dies, and I started having what I thought was a reoccurring dream, but I'm watching myself float up out of my body. I'm looking at me and my mom in our bed. You know, at that time I was slept with my mom, you know, at certain nights and stuff like that. And but I was remember watching me float above my body, and I'm looking at my mom and me sleeping. And as I started getting carried out of the room, every time I started getting right when I started getting scared, I'd say, "Mom," like that. It would carry me back and it would set me back into my body, and everything was okay. And it did it roughly around probably 10 times before before I decided to see where it was gonna take me. And
Now,
this is so I'm gonna first
okay.
off, no matter how crazy my stories sound and stuff like that, they're real. They're not fiction. If it's not real, I don't want to hear it. I ain't damn sure ain't gonna tell it. Damn sure ain't gonna sit here and put myself on camera for the world to see looking like a nut. So what I'm telling you, this happened. This is from my own encounters. Take it how you want it, type
So,
stuff. You
so
know,
yeah, thanks for saying that. I think that the viewers, that's what their job is to judge your story and the way that you tell your stories, man. Like I said, when we had our conversation, man, I was captivated 100%. But I do want to ask because, even though some things are real to us,
yeah.
in our minds, sometimes they are associated to events, especially you mentioned the death of your father, rest in peace. Um,
Yeah.
how would you say that this event is not connected to your the passing of your father?
It is tied. It is all of it. Well, all of it's tied to that trauma, because that real quick, finishing that story was I let it take me, and then I screamed probably while I was out the doorway of my mom's bedroom, and it kept carrying me out. I'm floating on my back. All of a sudden, man, I look up. It's my dad. Okay, my dad's carrying me, and I'm looking around. All of a sudden, I see all these people in my living room. People with the '50s glasses, the beehive hair, and all that. You know, from back in the Gap, back in the, you know what I mean. I don't know if y'all use that word today, but back in the
Yeah,
day,
we
you
from
know
the,
what I
we
mean.
from the Midwest. We take on words. It's okay. We'll use that one. Thanks for sharing. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I was out of style there, but back in the day, man. But anyways, man, I looked up, man. I see my dad. And I said, "Dad," I knew he was dead. And I said, "Dad," I said, "I'm scared." He says, "Don't be." He smiled at me, gave me a kiss. And I said, "I want to go back there with Mama." And he took me back in there, and I never seen him again. He laid me down in my bed. And so
Wow.
these are the first things and stuff like that. Then the marble that I told you I was gazing through during while the sun was playing. I mean, the sun was out and stuff, and I was about 8
Mm-hmm.
years old. Turned into the marble opened up and turned into a prairie, and I seen a buffalo, and then I seen some Indians chasing it and stuff, and I was like, what the heck? Man, I went there and told my mom what I saw in the marble, and she was like, "Boy, you got an overactive imagination." And so that's what I wrote it off through all these years, but things kept happening around me and stuff that was unexplainable. Um, and then moving into a house and stuff like that, and then had some demonic things that took place there and stuff. and you kind of shut your mouth about it and you can't be quiet about it no more. And then eventually I never slept up there in that loft again at my sister's house. I was a child after my parents passed away. I see my mom on her funeral night. I seen her after we just buried her. Man, it's around 3 o'clock in the morning, which is known as the witching hour, right? Which is really around, honestly, from 11 at night to about 7 o'clock in the morning. That's like the most high actor. At that house that I'm telling you about, it's nonstop. You better not be in that house between 11 and 7.
So
It
this
is.
house, man, so this house possibly had something that had taken place before you ever got there.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
give us some of that, because the demonic side of things, on one end, it sounds like you are either clairvoyant or you have some type
Yes.
of psychic manifestations that you are seeing, or maybe you just psychic in general. I mean, I think that it's up to the imagination of people who are listening. But demonic things are the things that really give people the problems. Like I do want to give a shout out to the group on Facebook, the paranormal group that I was working with on Facebook. I have to say their name in a second, but on that group, man, I kid you not, you were like the fifth or sixth person that I spoke to in that group, and then from there it exploded. I literally had 50, 60 people. I was talking to a woman in Ghana. She's going to be on the show. I mean, Kenya, excuse me. Another woman who's in Switzerland, Barcelona. I spoke to a guy who's in actually in Texas, where you're at. I'll try to maybe connect you guys. But I started getting these messages from people all around the world. And the one thing that I took in was people were traumatized. Now, I heard stories about people who had something to do with aliens. Then I heard other stories that I maybe just threw off. But the things that I think the running theme with all of those stories was the demonic side of things. So tell us the
Yeah.
first demonic encounter, and just it's your show from here on out, man. Let us know.
My first really demonic encounter was I was 15 years old, and we were living in a. My parents just passed away, and I moved in with my older sister and her husband. Her husband is Air Force, and so we were waiting on base housing. We just moved to Abilene, Texas. We're waiting to move on Dice Air Force Base, and so we had about a year's wait and stuff. So I lived back behind Abilene High, basically. And so the house, immediately moving off into this house and stuff like that. When we were first looking at it, it was awesome. It was cool. It was huge. It was big, and there was a cool freaking loft. And my niece, being the only child, she gets the pick of the litter. You know what I mean? She's like, I want the loft. And I was like, no, man, let me have the loft. She's like, no, I want it. I was like, all right, man. So she started moving her stuff into it. Well, about midway through it, she starts checking it out. She says, you can have the loft. So I took the loft. This freaking house also, man, like I said, it's a different house. This is the first time I encountered a demonic entity like that. And so I'm up in my bunk, and I had a twin on the bottom and a double. Sorry, I had a single on the bottom and a double on top, right, and stuff. So I got my bunk bed up there. The bedroom's shaped weird, man. It's shaped like a real long tube, and the walls go up like this, and then the ceiling, and it's real long. And so when you first come up the stairs, right, to my left is my bedroom, is my bed over, and there's only one window. It's like a camper window that slides up and down. The other side is the closet and stuff over there. And but going on that way, there's these two little doors, look like little midget, weird little dwarf doors, gnome doors or something. And I just thought they were cool. Didn't think none of it. And so I was asleep, and I started going to sleep, and I started hearing my door open downstairs, coming up my stairs, right? That lead to my stairs, coming upstairs. And so as I am listening to this door open, and it just shut, and it's just silence. And then I said, hey, I said, who's there? No one answered. And so I was thinking my brother-in-law messing around with me, maybe my niece messing around with me or something, right? My niece at this time was probably around 8 years old, 8, 9 years old. And so all of a sudden, I hear walking up my stairs. Then I hear running down my stairs. And I was like, Julie, Pat, man, y'all quit playing. No one was playing except the demons. So, so anyway, so I sat there, and all of a sudden it runs up the stairs again. And then I'm looking at my floor, and you can hear it, man, the hardwood floor and stuff. Even though there was carpet, but there was hardwood up under there. You can hear the creaking of someone walking toward my bed. And so I I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden my bed starts to vibrate, starts to shake. And so, you can write that off as in, okay, your heart rate kicked up and stuff like that. This is no heart rate kicked up to where I'm creating a situation type deal. But this is what happened. The my bed started vibrating. I turned toward the window and turned my back toward my bedroom, right? And I could see out. I could see toward my window, directly off the reflection of my window onto my bottom bed down there. There's a woman, and she is silhouette, very manifested, but kind of see through. She's white in form. It looked like, man, it looked like my niece, honestly. Blonde hair, but the razor teeth. She had razor teeth, black eyes, and she had her hands up under my bunk like this, and she was just looking right into the mirror, and I mean to the window, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Excuse me. I pulled the cover over my head, and I start praying, God help me and stuff, and make this thing go away. I fall asleep. Eventually, I cry myself to sleep at 15 years old. I cry myself to sleep. I wake up the next morning. My sister's in the kitchen cooking breakfast, and I go up to the bar, and I was like, I ain't never sleep in that room again. But she had this knowing look on her face, and I was like, "What's up?" She goes, "Nothing," like that. She goes, "What happened?" And I said, "Well," I said, "Man." And what was funny was I heard a duck quacking, duck noises. Okay, anytime a demonic entity's around, you're gonna hear animal noises. You're gonna hear dogs barking and growling. You're gonna hear goats. You're gonna hear ducks. You can hear ducks. All this stuff, and it's just
Why
where
is
they're.
that?
I have. I don't know. I guess it's just a way to torment you and stuff like that. That way, I guess you can relate to the things that are around you, but these things are not around you. So I really don't know the answer to that. Um, but they make animal noises and stuff like that. It's a known thing. So anyway, eventually what I did was so I was explaining the story to her, and I was like, "Man, I heard a duck quacking. I thought it was Julia, man." And all at first, and then I seen a woman up under my bed. Yeah, off the reflection of it, I said it was not Julia and stuff like that. And she says, "Well, Julia said her door was open and closed in her bedroom, and heard yours open and closed, and she said she heard a duck quacking." So immediately then, I'm thinking, my niece, she has something to do with this, right? You're just trying to rationally, try to understand what happened. So I'll go into her room. I was like, "Man, admit that it was you that did this." And she just broke down into tears. She says, "It wasn't me. I didn't do nothing." And to today, I ain't gonna say today because I haven't talked to her in a minute. But growing up and stuff like that together, we talked about that. There's times where we're sitting off in her bedroom, we hear people walking and laughing upstairs. We just sit there and still play our board game and stuff. You know,
Okay, so that's important when
yeah,
somebody else outside of you hears the same things. So I
yes,
think
sir.
that adds a little bit of layer to it as well. But before we get
Yes,
moving on, I did promise Shannon from Ghost and All Things Paranormal on Facebook. That's a group on Facebook. If you guys are interested in ghost, paranormal, anything that's strange,
yes.
she has the juice on there. Yep, it's thousands
Awesome.
of people from all around the world who get on Ghost and All Things Paranormal. So shout out to
Yeah.
Shannon. I promised her that I would give
Oh,
her a shout out during this. So yeah.
yeah.
So man, okay. So that's scary. That's a scary thing to encounter. But what? Tell me these things that set your story aside because you made the claim that you had one of the biggest hauntings. Well, your light just popped on. That you had the biggest haunting, that one of the biggest hauntings you said in the world, brother.
Baby.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. You said you had the biggest haunting in America, in the world. And I know people want to hear those stories, so continue. Let the viewers be the judge.
Man, when I tell you, man, when you ask me for between a 1 and a 10, man, what do you rate it?
I
Beyond a
told
20.
you,
God,
I want to say I said a 10 or when you asked me that question, but then you said something else. What did you say?
beyond it. I said a 20 is what I said.
You said that the stories that you had
Mm,
were uh were truly different than any other paranormal events that you've heard of, not only
yeah,
in America but in the world. So I
in the
think
world.
tell us, man, tell us how is that different?
Man, I just got to tell the story, man. It's too much. It's nonstop. It's too much. You can't fake this shit. You can't fake it, man. Uh, the fact that I'm sitting here and I'm sane as I am from seeing what I saw and stuff like that, that's a miracle itself. It takes 7 traumatic events in one's life, they say, to drive someone completely insane. What I saw, what this house, through everything I've been through in my life, this house changed my life forever. And it's the whole reason that I'm here on this podcast to tell you about this location and stuff. The house is phenomenal. It's not for the weak. It's not for somebody that takes it lightly and stuff, because it will consume you. It will chew you up and spit you out. It will put you in the fetal position. But it's like a snake. It's like a python that warms you up just right before it squeezes all the life out of you. And that's what happened to me. I became obsessed with this house and everything that I was going through that I shared with you before, what I was going through and stuff like that, that played a part. My traumatic trauma experiences that I've been through and stuff like that. And so my emotions that I carried off into this house, it played it was the gasoline, it was the fuel to the fire, as what it needed to carry out the biggest paranormal phenomenon to ever be documented. And I say this with complete confidence. No one's ever captured what I've captured. And these videos are like phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. My sisters are believers. My brother's a believer and stuff now. And my brother doesn't want nothing to do with paranormal. He's still today, I watch out talking about it around him and stuff like that, because he's very sensitive. But this is what happened. I moved into a house. The owner of this house in Hamlin, Texas, he owns a lot of houses. Well, he moved me into this house and stuff and gave me a job at a cabinet shop. And so things are right when I moved into the house needed a lot of work and stuff like that. It's then been remodeled, but the house was built in 1954. It's got all brand new cabinets in it, but no new doors on the cabinets. You got to order the doors. So I'm saying that so we keep it in mind just for the here in the future of my story here. But it needed a lot of work. I was very depressed when I walked in there, man. I was just like, and I sensed it immediately. Something's here. Something's off, big time, man. There's a negative, bad energy here. And so my brother, he had to get back to work. I go to cleaning the house and stuff like that. Well, we get some paint and stuff, and I get a spray rig. I'm painting the first front bedroom. It's a 3 bedroom, 2 bath house. There's a small bed. There's a master bedroom in the back with a master bathroom, and we'll get to that one. but in the front of the house, there's 2 bedrooms and a small bathroom. There's 2 small bedrooms. I'm in the first front bedroom at the front of the house. I'm painting the inside. I got the windows up. There's no fumes getting me high or anything like that. I'm sitting there. I'm spraying and everything, and I see something in the corner of my eye. My bedroom door is open, and it leads off into the other bedroom door. And so I look over, and when I looked over, all right, I saw a woman in gray hair with a gray dress, elbow cuts, as long as the sleeves were, about elbow length. Uh, Her dress went down. It was a full dress that went to her knees. I can't tell you, like I said, if she had boots on or anything like that, man. But I just know I looked and I seen this woman take at least 2 steps off into this room. First, I see something in the corner of my eye, then I look. And when I look, I see a woman. I'm watching this woman. She takes at least 2 steps off in this bedroom. What I'm thinking is, okay, this is the owner's aunt, his sister, or something. They're coming and checking on the progress of the house, but I have my doors locked. What are you doing in my house? How did you get in? You know what I mean? I just felt my space violated and stuff, and it's really gonna be violated when I carry on with the story. So anyway, I see a woman walk in there, and so I'm stumped. I set the spray rig down. I was like, man, what's this woman doing in my house? So I go into the bedroom, already, figuring out how I'm gonna dress it. Hey, and there was no one there. And so I walk in, and so I'm looking around the bed, the closets and everything. No one's in there or anything. I look up on the wall. Corey Hurley from Hurley Paranormal Research Team in West Texas. He'll vouch for this, because the man is psychic. He's the real deal. And I watched him, and there's no way he could have known what's up under this paint. And so there's a piece of wood. It covers where an old AC unit used to be. And so, but on this piece of wood was demonic encryption. It was some weird writing. The reason I know it's demonic because what happened, and just what I was told about it and everything else later on. There was this weird encryption writing around it, and there was this. It was just a rough magic black marker, and there were some alien heads, a spaceship drawn, some demonic faces, and an ape. Okay, so I'm thinking, okay, who's the creepy kid that lived in this motherfucker, right? Who, you know what I mean? That was my first thought and stuff like that. But the room, when I walked in the room, it was cold. Like I said, this was around August, man. It was hot outside. It was about 100 something degrees outside, and there's only one AC unit, window unit in this house, in this entire house, which is clear across the other side of the house in the dining room. There's no way, because the room I'm working in, it ain't cold. There's all of a sudden this room over here it's cold. It's got a coolness
How
to it.
cold
You know?
was it?
It was probably around, I say temperature wise, I say 55, 60 degrees around that. Now you got to understand, you're in a hot house that has no central heat and air. There's no room, and this room right here, there's no blinds on the windows. The sun's shining right in there, so that room should be good and warm. You know what I mean? Scientifically, you know what I mean. There's no way that this room right here is going to be cold when it's at the front of the house, and that's the side of the house the sun's going down on. You know what I mean? So that sucker, it's had sun all. I mean, you know what I mean, for a minute in there. There's no way that's going to
Mhm.
be cold. And so anyway, so I'm sitting here and I see this piece of wood. I look at it. I back up. I'm trying to think of what's going on in my head. Am I losing my mind? I just saw this woman walk into this room. Am I losing my mind? Should I say anything about it? I go back. I go to this painting. All of a sudden, on my front door, boom, 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 right? And it was in threes, which is a mockery of the Trinity. Anytime, usually, when you have poltergeist activity happening and stuff like that, it's always in threes. You're gonna hear the knocking, the rappings, and stuff like that, which is a mockery of the Trinity, man. But and so anyway, so the I go back. I hear the knocking on the door. I think it's my brother. He's just being impatient, and I was like, man, hey, hold up, man. So I go to the front door, man. I'm kind of pissed off. I'm actually pissed off because the way he was knocking. I open the door. There's no one there, and I was like, so I step off the porch. I go to the side of my house, go to the other side and shit. And so, but I look around. There's no one there. All of a sudden, I get a phone call. It's my brother. He says, "Hey man," he goes, "Where you at?" Oh, what you gonna? He said, "What you doing?" I said, "Man, just painting, starting off in the front bedroom." But he could tell something was up with my voice. He goes, "You all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm all right." You know, I said, just trying to get this done. He's all right, man. I'm about 30 minutes out. I'll be there, right? So I went back to painting everything, and everything was cool. It was normal and stuff like that. Came out and drank some beers, and we're working on the house and stuff together. The story's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get crazy. This happened. These videos, I have them. Matter of fact, I have a lot on this phone right here. I have a recording on this phone that I wanted you to hear too. It's really crazy, and it's the
Yeah,
clearest
we're
one. The
gonna we're
clearest,
gonna play those.
sir.
I say we're gonna play those definitely.
You don't have
So
this one.
okay, because you showed me a few and they were pretty
Yeah.
riveting videos, man. Definitely, they had some
Hey, those are.
definite weird things going on in those videos.
It goes way deeper, brother. Way deeper than that, because that's just what's on this phone. But you wait till we get it off in the Galaxy Cloud. But anyway, so I am one day I'm hanging. I come in from work. I'm working at the cabinet shop. I come in. I'm hanging some blinds and stuff in my bedroom. On the other side of my bedroom wall is my dining room. It's my living room and stuff, right? Someone ran through my house, like a 200-pound plus man ran through my house. I'm the only one in my house. I got my doors locked. No one's there, okay? And so all of a sudden someone runs through my house, and I was like, I jump down. I go into my living room. No one's there. I check out the bedrooms, just a quick glance. What the fuck was that? I go to the front door, man. It's locked. I unlock it. Just trying to rationalize, man. I open it,
Hold on,
man,
a
step
two
out.
hundred pound man runs past you. 200 pounds.
At
That's
least that.
loud.
At least I'm talking felt it on the chair I was standing in the floor that was connected to the freaking floor, and I heard it. And there was no way. Something ran through my house. So
What
I
was he
jumped down
wearing?
to investigate it. Man, it gets deeper. It goes way deeper. This is just the intro to. It gets bigger, man. But anyway, So I jump down, I'm searching, trying to figure out, unlock the front door, no one's there. I go to the back door, no one's there. I unlock it, check it, no, nothing's there. I lock the back door, I back up, I turn to go back into my bedroom, and right beside me, like basically under me, was like children. It wasn't like, it was children laughing. Okay, at least two children. It sounded like two children just giggling, laughing. I was like, what the fuck? And I go into my bedroom. I call my sister. I won't tell my brother yet. You know what I mean? See what she thinks. So I tell her, I said, man, look, I ain't been saying nothing. Shit's been going on at this house. And I would give her the rundown. I said, now I got the children in the corner of my fucking living room. Excuse me, my living room, man. And they're laughing. So I got some stuff going on here. She's like, John, you need to pray. And at that time, man, I was going through a lot of things and stuff like I shared with you and stuff, man. And probably the best thing I could have done was pray and stuff. And eventually when I did it, because my heart wasn't right, man, God wasn't answering that prayer and stuff, man. But I wasn't in his protection and stuff like that, man. And I know God sets these protections out, man, not saying you can't have fun and do what you know what I mean? But inside of here, man, it's the confinements, man, of everything that you need, everything that is good for you is here. But when you start venturing outside his protection and stuff like that, man, you know, Satan can get a hold of you and stuff like that. And what I saw in this house, man, what I'm getting to, man, is it's insane. When I tell you I hold the top paranormal videos in the world, man, I'll make that claim against anybody, any paranormal company. I'm telling you, man, you're going to be watching my material. You're going to be watching me. I promise you. I'm going to extract these videos. I know the top paranormal hotspot. There's nowhere else to go. This house is a place where dimensions collide. It's like a subway station for spirits. There's no telling what's going to come through, though. That's the thing. Sometimes it's peaceful and everything's good and going. All of a sudden, you can feel it, and then you see it. You see what's there and stuff.
Wow.
So anyway, so inside this house, let me see where I was at. Okay, so the
The
man runs
kids,
through
the
my
children.
yeah. And so I called my sister. She's like, John, she goes, man, you need to pray. And I was like, all right. And so I called my brother. I tell him, man, he's like, boy, you back on drugs? Like, no, man, I ain't on drugs. I'm telling you what's going on here, man. This is happening, man. And he's like, man, look. He goes, Mark's going to come out, which is my nephew. He goes, he's going to come out, man. He's going to help with the house. He's wanting to come down. Because I done talked to him, you know, off and on, you know, before that conversation with my brother. He said he's wanting to come down and help with the house, you know, for a couple of weeks, man. Get out of his house and stuff, man, and help you. And he goes, man, we're going to, you know, we'll have a get together, man. I'll loosen up, you know, drink some beer and stuff. I was like, bet, man. So we had a get together. So this party of three turns into a full scale freaking block party, man. And people were at this house. No. It turned into a party of like 30 people there, man. And so these two girls come up to me and they say, hey, man, you know about this house, right? And I said, what's up? She says, well, it's haunted. I said, yeah, I suspected that. I got some shit going on here, but I think I can coexist with whatever's here. It's like, no, man. She goes, it's evil. What's here? It's bad. And I was like, well, what's up? So she proceeds to tell me the story about the past residences that lived there 4 years prior. And so this this resident, this family was black magic witches. And they opened up, the story she told me was that this woman, that she knows her very well, she says this woman opened up a portal inside this house for anything to come through because they were mad at the landlord. Didn't want the landlord to keep any tenants after they left. Okay? Sounds catchy. You know, I'm thinking they're just trying to build, you know what I mean? I know it's haunted. I already know, but you know what I mean? I already know what I captured and stuff like that. But I'm just hearing the story. I'm just letting them talk and tell me what they know and stuff like that. She says, so she proceeded to tell me, hey, she was, I'll show you where the portal's at inside this house. All right. So I'm thinking, okay, two fine chicks trying to show me this portal. You know what I mean?
What you got to lose?
In a house somewhere, maybe trying to get me away from the party type deal. So I'm going along with it, man. I'm going along with it. So they take me into the bedroom that witch walked into, that woman walked into. They took me in that same bedroom. She says, here it is. She points at the whole radius of the floor. And I'm looking. It's all hardwood floors, nicely polished, everything, right? And so, but a lot of times I have drop cloth on it where I'm painting and stuff like that. So we just got the floors cleaned up. I really ain't looked at it too hard for any symbols and signs or anything like that. Didn't even think of nothing like that because I got the weird board already up on the damn wall. You know what I mean?
What was that noise?
You're
I
gonna
just heard the
hear things.
noise.
You're gonna hear things. This house right here is super haunted. It's a super. There's a lot of my material that is on my Facebook, and it's on there and stuff like that. But this is nothing. And one of them, man, I got a Led Zeppelin shirt on. I'm here. I'm filming. I got a Led Zeppelin shirt on, and he goes in a recording, a video recording. He goes, Led Zeppelin, just like that. And I was like, what the fuck?
And I also noticed when we were talking, it's almost like the aura around behind you is getting darker and darker. Are you near a window? Is it getting dark outside
There
or
is a
what? Because
window here. There is a window over there. This I have candles here. This right here.
okay,
This is when I tell you I'm highly haunted. I'm 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 very haunted, man.
okay,
And you know
that
the
makes no
situation.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes no sense because as we were talking, that
Yeah.
hallway got progressively darker. And I don't know if it was
Yeah.
a trick of the camera, but I know it's light in Texas. You're 2 hours to an hour behind me anyway. So just pointing that out, man. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But so I am sorry, I got some text going on here.
Are you
Okay.
good,
So
brother?
so anyway, I'm in my bedroom one night and the bed starts vibrating. It's been doing it and I just take notice of it and I was like, man, it's got to be a train or something. You know what I mean? A train right here. There ain't no train goes through Hamlin, Texas. There ain't no train. And so I'm thinking that in my head. So I'm just messing around. I snap a picture up under my bed. I lean down and I look at it. And when I see this picture, I got a dude. I call him Shaggy. He's got a scruffy little beard. He's got brown hair. Stands up on top. His eyes itself, not the sockets. His sockets were normal. His eyes are black. He's looking directly into my phone. He's probably about this far from my phone. He's probably about I don't know, man. He's shit. No, he's probably, yeah, about 6 to 7 inches away from my phone. His face is coming up, just looking right at my phone. His body's coming up out of my floor. And so I was like, what the fuck? I jump up, I go to the front, I call my sister. My sister's a school teacher, okay? And so roughly around 9, probably about 9 o'clock at night. I sent her the picture. I said, man, check this out. She said, who's that? I said, I don't know, but he's under my bed. She said, John, you need to get out of that house. I said, no, man. Hold on. This thing's cool, man. It's getting cool, man. Let me see. Let me stay a little longer. Anyway, I went under there, man, and I put a Bible under my bed. I opened it up to Psalms 91. You know what I mean?
Which
Put on
is
Psalms
what song?
91.
What,
Psalms
what's that?
91. That is the basically the when you're going through any type of demonic shit attack and stuff like that, it says basically Jesus is going to keep you safe. God holds everything in order and stuff like that, man. And so Satan, like it says in the Bible, man, Satan only has so much that he can do, but until you invite him in more. And that's what happened was through my lifestyle, I wasn't tapped into the things of God. I was angry. I was mad. It started off as fun and games and stuff like that, me playing around with the house. The next thing was this. So I went in there and I put a Bible up under the bed. And when I put this Bible on Psalms 91 and put it up under the bed, okay, the house starts shaking. The house rumble. And I was like, the fuck? So I'm looking, and so I snap a picture. I have this picture, and I didn't even send it to you, man, because it is filtered. I want the original. Because it's in the Galaxy Cloud and stuff like that. But and there's a lot of times, man, where I was sitting there and I was filter bringing out what I was seeing and stuff like that. It ended up erasing the original and stuff like that. But the originals that I have on is plenty enough to cover everything that I've talked about. So anyway, so the house starts vibrating, shaking, boom, harder. So I snap a picture. I lean down, I snap a picture to my bed. When I snap this damn picture, on the other side of my bed is the woman in the gray hair. She's leaned down and she's looking right up under my bed, looking right at me. She's on the
Oh
other side
man.
of my bed. Okay? And I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck, man? And so I sent it to my sister. She's telling me, John, get out of the house. To both of my sisters. I'm the youngest of five. I'm the baby brother. And so, man, they my older sister wants more to do with it than the youngest sister, and my brother actually wants nothing to do with this stuff because he's had attachments to him before. So anyway, I snapped this picture and stuff, and I sent it to her, and she's like, John, get out of the house, okay? So anyway, so one day I'm coming out at this time, man. At this time, there's things happening. There's music with no source playing constantly, constantly. Music. I'm talking opera to music that I've never heard from. I'm talking a time period that I've never been in. You know what I mean? And so I'm hearing this music playing, and so I start to try to find out after a couple weeks where's this music coming from. So I turn off the AC unit in there, and at this time I got another AC unit in my bedroom I just stuck in and stuff like that. So I turn off everything, right? And I don't hear it no more. Okay? The sounds and stuff like that, sounds frequencies and stuff like that. When I had them on, how it was disrupting that frequency. I was able to hear inside of that realm for a minute. Yeah, I mean not a minute, for a while. But so, and all of a sudden, so I go outside, okay? It's because the music stops. Everything stops. I go outside, my front door. I'm walking around the house. Nothing. I'm standing on my front porch. I got my front door open. Music is coming from inside my house. Okay? So I was like, okay.
Wow.
So now I'm looking for it. I'm trying to find this music. And at this time, man, at this time right here, I got back like that. Just being honest and stuff like that, man. And so I'm looking for this sound, man, inside my house. And then so I'm looking. I can't find that. I got my phone. I can hear it coming from like a end table. So I opened it up, and the music's coming from inside this table. I got my phone light on, right? Well, I accidentally hit duo video call with my sister. Okay, so here I am under this cabinet looking, trying to find the source of the song. I mean, the source of this music, and all of a sudden I hear John, and I was like, it was my sister on the phone.
Oh,
So
okay.
anyway, so she, what are you doing? I was like, man, can't even tell you what's going on. I was like, man, she goes, John, you need to get out
So,
because
but your sister is a credible person, because a lot of people are going to say, I know how viewers are,
yeah,
haters, they're going to say, oh, he's
cool.
probably on drugs. He's probably tripping. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you have a sister, you have family members, and you also, so you mentioned three people. You mentioned your nephew, I believe. You mentioned
Yeah,
the two young ladies. Then you mentioned your sisters and your brothers, who have all bear witness to a lot of these things through video camera, through video
yes,
images.
yes, and being present, and stuff like that. The picture you have of the troll, the dude squatted down. He's staticky in form. That is known as the keeper of portals and overseer of witches. I captured not only the first image picture, real picture of the captured ever in existence. I captured not only the video, I mean the picture, but I have the video of him manifesting, and the the freaking portal, this gray ball that was in my bathroom, it's just spinning right at this time.
Uh, okay. So, what's the scariest thing that you witnessed in this house? Because you said you had 7 huge events that had taken place. What is the most scariest recount?
Shit, man, insane. The most scariest was shit. It was all scary. It was all scary. I took off running probably about 3, 4 different times out of this house. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's the worst thing you could ever do is run. Don't ever run from them. But you're gonna be like, "Oh, we got us one. We got us one, boys." And they're gonna start turning up on you. That's what they're gonna do. But the scariest thing that I experienced was this. I come out of my bathroom and I watch the mirror and on my headboard. It's a huge mirror, and it ripples, right? And so I was like, "What the fuck?" So I'm looking at it. I noticed these 3 dots inside of the mirror. Okay, these 3 dots, and these 3 dots are getting bigger and bigger, right? And so as I'm looking at these dots, I'm realizing that it's something's coming through. Something is coming through the plane of the mirror, right? Something's off in the plane of this mirror, and it is getting closer because it's getting bigger. And so I need to record this. I record everything, everything. If something starts happening, I'm on it. I'm recording it, and because basically at this time I was on the verdict. I mean, is am I going insane type deal, and so the mirror starts rippling. I walk up, I see these 3 dots. She started getting bigger. I get my phone, I start filming. And this is what happened. These 3 dots started getting bigger. I noticed that they're people. Okay. So I step back away from my headboard and I go toward the foot of my bed. And I'm filming this now. And I'm watching these women. I'm zooming in. I'm watching these 3 women. It's 3 women. And they were witches. And they were touching fingers like this. They were touching hands like this, walking side by side. And they're walking toward the plane of my mirror. Okay? And they come up to the mirror. Now they're life-size form. Now they're life-size. They're looking in like this. The first one steps out of my mirror. It had nothing to do with any type of damn hallucinations or anything, man. I caught it on film. Got it. But what happens is when they excite you, right? They'll excite you. Now you're pushing more energy up. Now they can pull that energy and they can do more things now. They can manifest. They can be able to talk. I mean, they're able to communicate by using your energy. So anyway, so I watch these women. I see the first one come up to the plane. I'm at the foot of my bed. Okay, she steps through the mirror onto my bed. Okay, now I'm thinking, I don't know what to think. I still today am still trying to balance myself from what I saw. Because people don't see what I see normally. You don't see this. You don't see these things and stuff like that. Unless you're a psych patient, you got some mental disabilities and stuff like that. You might be seeing your own little world. You know what I mean? But this is nothing like that. So anyway, it steps through the mirror onto my bed, and she's standing up, and she turns, and here comes the other. There's 2 more. They're on my bed now. Okay, I got 3 hot ass chicks dressed in black on my bed. Okay, they're standing up on my bed. As I'm looking over my phone, remember the movie The Predator, which I talked to you about? It was just like that. I could see them even without the movie. It was a shimmer, glass, watery, vaporous form of the images of what my phone is seeing. Okay? Over my eyes, that's exactly what I'm seeing. This is naturally how I see shit anyways and stuff like that. Just growing up. Like I said, my vision started changing when I was 13 years old, man. So I'm at the foot of my bed. I see these 3 women, and I'm like, okay. I'm looking over. They're staticky in form, water vaporous forms. I'm looking through my phone. Oh my God, I got 3 women. I got 3 women on my bed, standing on my bed. Completely disrespecting. So they're gesturing around the room like this, right? So as I'm looking through the phone, they're glitching in and out like a hologram, man. Like a fucking hologram. Okay? And so they're gesturing around the room, giggling, looking at me, laughing and shit, right? All of a sudden, these 3 women transform into 3 little girls that look exactly like my daughter. My daughter. My oldest daughter. And the first one gets off the bed. I'm filming this, okay? The first one gets off the bed. She helps the other 2 off the bed. And they walk through the wall. Okay? This is as crazy as it sounds, man.
That's incredible.
No matter the backlash, I might, you know what I mean? Of course, there's going to be some negative and stuff like that, but man, proof's in the pudding, honey. Proof's in the pudding. You know what I mean? It's in the pudding. And I got the videos. You've seen enough right there that proves there is a major haunting taking place. But
those videos are going in my comment section.
Did what?
Those videos are going to be linked in my comment sections for people to review. So, yep, 100%. So we're going to look out for you on that, brother. Yep. And, another shout out to Ghost and All Things Paranormal. That's a Facebook group on YouTube. Yeah. Look at me, I'm old. That's a Facebook group. And that is Ghost and All Things Paranormal. That is how I met this great guy right here. He has a lot of stories to share, and hopefully we can get that imagery and those videos from him. And if you want to reach out to him, you know how to reach out to him. Anybody who's paranormal and into paranormal hauntings or things like that, or who want to ask him questions, reach out to him. He's a cool guy. We like him to be on the show. We want you to come back, man. Who do you want to give a shout out to?
Man, my family really, my family's endured a lot with me with this and stuff, man. And I ran them down through there and stuff, man. And there's just times, man, just you just want to be heard and stuff, man. And so my experience with this is everybody has their own time and stuff like that, man. You just got to touch and go with them. You know what I mean? Don't try to vomit all your experiences of the paranormal, what you went through, onto somebody that is not ready for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that, or at that time, not ready for it. But I thank my daughters, Lily and Sydney, for just being who they are and stuff like that. But I just wanted to get my story out there. I'm excited. And I thank you for having me on your show. And I want to say one more thing, man. I got a good girl behind me also. And she's been heaven sent to me. And if it wasn't for her, man, I don't think I'd be right here right now. Honestly. And I thank my children and her, man, for her coming in my life and stuff like that, man. Because I don't deserve her at all.
Hey, man, we're part of your life too now. All right.
Awesome.
We appreciate you, brother. We're gonna support you. I'm sure you're gonna get a lot of people who want to support you in the comments and who got your back, okay? All right, brother. You take care, man. And we're gonna get back with you soon, no doubt.
All right. You too, man. Bye-bye.